What's up, everybody? It's Lucas Pierce of Parkour, and yeah, I'm a little late, and I apologize for that. I've just been training offset, just trying to get some lines for this one video that I'm preparing for, that you guys will see in the near future. Hopefully, by the end, next week, or in the middle of next week, or the beginning of next week. I want to take the time to make another story time for you guys, because this story time is going to be about how I got started into parkour. And yeah, let's get started. So we're going back to 2011. Now, when before I knew about parkour and freerunning, I wasn't a very active kid. I was kind of chubby. I wasn't fat, but I was pretty chubby, and I didn't really exercise a lot back then. And I was really just a shy kid. I didn't really do nothing. And 2011 hits, and there's this old show on Nickelodeon at the time. It's called Super Ninjas. This particular Super Ninjas, I remember the exact episode number and season number and everything. It was episode 5, season 1, and the title of the actual show was Subsiders. And basically, it was about this parkour group that was they were criminals. They robbed armored trucks in broad daylight and stuff, and I thought that all the flips and stuff that they did and the climbing was just freaking awesome. I had my best friend with me at the time. We were both watching it. We both thought it was kind of cool. So we had masks and we just played around, but I still didn't know what it was called back then. I didn't know it was called parkour or whatever it was back then. Yeah, me and my best friend, we just do that out in the backyard. We just climb the walls and stuff like that. Pretty much that was it. It was just for fun. We didn't know it was an actual thing you can do. And we didn't even attempt the flips because we thought that was just way too hard to learn without any type of gym or anything. Pretty much that goes on for a year, and then 2012 hits and I get my first laptop. What happened was I got the laptop, opened it up, went straight to YouTube, right? And in the suggestions column, it said something about best parkour and freerunning. I was like, what's that? I want to know what that is. That's interesting. And it showed the thumbnail was basically a dude who was jumping from one side of a tall building to handstand onto another one, or do something onto the other side of it. And I was intrigued because of that. And man, oh man, oh man, I'm telling you, ever since I saw that video, I don't know why I wanted to do it, but I was just so wanting to do that as an actual thing now. So yeah, I played around with it a little bit of times, and before you know it, I started looking up tutorials on how to do parkour and freerunning. And the very first video, the very first parkour tutorial I watched was Jesse LaFleur on his wall run tutorial. That was the first parkour tutorial video I ever watched. And I had me and Jason with me to watch it together. And then ever since then, I've been looking at all his tutorials, learning all these different types of vault, like the dash vault, cash vault, Kong vault, all the basic stuff. And then pretty much I was just doing that for a little while, just messing around. And then 2013 hits. Actually, no. Actually, yeah, let's go back just a little bit. So I think it was 2013 when there was this one day that I came up, I woke up early, and I went straight to the park around 10:30 or 11 or something. It was really early in the morning, and I went straight to Silverado Park. I just wanted to train. I wanted to do what I normally did. Now I've been practicing the vaults for a little while, so I kind of knew a little bit of the basics back then. And then I was just doing some stuff at the skate park, and then this one dude was he walks up to me, he says, "Yo, you do parkour?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I asked him, "Do you wanna join me and whatever, and we could do so whatever?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So we hung out for a little bit, and then a couple minutes later, tell me why we find this beast ass freerunner just training by the stairs next to the skate park. And we walk over to him. He's doing this 8-foot rail precision jump, and I thought it was pretty crazy. He did side flips off the stairs. I thought that was insane, cause at the time, I didn't even know anyone else flipped around Long Beach, so I thought that was a miracle. Just seeing someone doing what I love to do. although he was 10 times better than me, and I was barely technically a beginner who didn't know any flips. But if you don't, like this guy, his name was Nyan Christian. This is the first time I met Christian. I don't know, I want to say it was 2013. I'm kind of more on the line it was 2012, but no, it was 2013. Yeah, it was 2013, and I ran across Nyan for the first time. And then we were training together for a little bit, and then what happened was we went over the wall at Silvo, and that's where I found out about the wall. The one that I showed you guys in one of my previous videos when I did the little stride step and did the cat grab, the wall. That was actually Nyan's favorite, but that's Nyan's favorite spot. And that's where I got it from him, from that long ago. That's where I wanted to do that from. I wanted to do that ever since, and I did eventually get it, of course. And I just thought it was so cool. Like, I couldn't do barely any of the stuff he was doing. Well, actually, no, I couldn't do any of the stuff he was doing, period. He was just going ham. Yeah, that wraps up that day. And let's fast forward just a little bit more. Still 2013, and me and Jason are hanging out this day. We're just doing parkour, we're doing whatever, and doing a little funny messing around stuff. And then we go to Silvo because we want to train some vaults on the benches. And then these kids come up to us, and they say, "Oh, you guys are doing parkour, right?" And we were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Yo, there's some guys doing parkour over at the skate park." And I was like, "Oh, let me go check it out." I mean, I've only seen one other guy do free running like around Long Beach, and it was crazy to me to see that. And then these guys are coming and saying that, and I was like, "Oh, I have to go. I have to find out who these guys were." Sure enough, I run into them, and I didn't know who these two guys were at the time, but it turns out it was Lotus Ninja members Genji and Alula. It was before I even knew there was any Long Beach team, before I knew there was any Lotus Ninjas at all. I didn't know anybody else did free running in Long Beach besides that one dude, Nyan. So it was just crazy to see those two. I didn't know them at the time, like I barely saw them for the first time. And yeah, we were young, dude. We were training for a little bit at the skate park, and then I see Genji go over and do a front flip. And I was like, yo, like in my head, I was saying, yo, I think I'm gonna go try that. And I did it, and I was like, you know what? A front flip doesn't seem that scary because I'm not gonna hit my head and I'm gonna be able to see where I'm going. So I tried it, I went from the cement to the grass, and sure enough, I got over my head, but I landed on my back. But I was so happy that I got over it. So that was the very first flip that I started to try and learn ever. And then I tried it repeatedly, and I kept falling and stuff like that. But that was okay, because I knew as long as I put practice, I would get to that level eventually. Pretty much, I learned that for like a year. Like I learned the front flip, which was my first flip ever at Silverado, and it took me over a year to do it, man. I was so happy to know that I landed my first flip ever. Outside, no mats, just grass. I learned it on grass, and I was so happy, man, because I thought it was going to be so hard, man. Next thing you know, 3 months later, I learned side flip, and then I meet another old school Lotus Ninja member. His name was Dan, and it was like, I just thought it was so cool to see this guy doing, like, tricking. He was tricking at the time. I still thought it was free running. At the time, I still didn't know the difference between parkour, free running, and I had no idea about tricking. So I thought it was cool. And he also helped me with the side flip when I first started side flip. And yeah, pretty much after that, I started like just progressing a little better. I started practicing a lot more. And then yeah, there was like a kind of stopping point, but I did eventually get back into it and stuff like that. But that's another day, because I want to get to like the point where I am now later. This is just about the beginning stages, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It brings back so many memories just to go back and reflect on how I started, like how I used to suck. I really wish that I had clips of me back then, because man, I wish I could just see how exactly I started and show you guys that too. I wish I could do that, but I never recorded any of that. I didn't have a phone at the time, so it was just me, myself, and I, and the grass, whatever I had. And I thought it was pretty cool, man. It was fun. It was a long time to learn my first flip, but I was happy in the end, though. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I got started in parkour and freerunning, man. All because of one video, one show did it for me, man. I don't know why I was so intrigued to do it, but I was so intrigued to do it that I did eventually end up doing it. Now I'm doing all this crazy stuff I never even thought I could do. I hope you guys enjoyed this little trip down memory lane with me to how I first started. I wish I had more visuals to show you and all that, you know, to give you a better picture. It's pretty fun, man. It's been quite a long time. I learned a lot of stuff, man. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. It's really quick. I know it's a lot of talking, but I promise you the next video will be a lot better. And I apologize, I am late on this video, but I hope you guys still enjoyed this video, and I will see you all later. Peace out, broskies.